go out and see all the lines out there, and you see everything that's going on in the grocery stores and all the hustle and bustle, and it's already on. I don't know, if you live in Southern California, you have to get used to traffic because it is everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's morning, noon, night, Saturday, Sunday. When I go home today down in Moreno Valley, the traffic is just going to be packed all the way down to 215. So what an opportunity we have to share Christ. We are in one of the most densely populated areas in all of the United States. How wonderful it is to have that opportunity. So do you have anything that you're thankful for today? Anything at all out there that you can think? I was talking to my grandson last night. He was staying at his grandfather's house down towards Temecula. And I thought I would just try it on. I thought I would ask him. And you know, we've been talking about thanks, and we've been talking about being thankful and having an attitude of gratitude over these last several weeks. And it's easy to get caught up in all the busyness and really forget about what we're thankful for, isn't it? To not have gratitude. So I thought I'd try it on. You know, he's been sitting here in the service for the last 3 weeks, and he actually memorized. You know, I gave the challenge, and again, don't feel bad if you didn't take it, but remember I gave the Philippians 4:8 principle, the challenge of think on these things, and remember all the things that Paul said to think about? You know, the things that are admirable, the things that are pure, the things that are noble. And then when he gets done with all that, he says, you know, think on these things. Continually think on these things. Don't take your mind and stray and think about negative things. And so he took the challenge, you guys. He said, every time he talks to me now, I said, Papa, do you want me to tell you Philippians 4:8? And he nails it every time. He's got that whole thing. So I thought I'd try it on last night, and it's about 10:30 at night. He calls me because he's getting ready to go to bed. And he says a couple of things, and he says, Papa, do you want me to say it? So I said, please, tell me the scripture. I don't know about you guys, but it's just soothing to me. I got to sit there on speakerphone. I was reading my Bible, and I just sat back, and I just kind of closed my eyes, and I had him recite that whole Philippians 4:8. So I said, I'm going to ask you, Andrew, what are you thankful for? If you could tell me a few things right now that you're thankful for. I said, what are they? He blew me away. He started at the top of the list, and I thought, this young man's got it. I wish that he could come in and sit next to some of us, and I'm not picking on any of you, but I wish he could just sit next to some of you and he could just put his head on your head and he could just get some of that on you guys to start to think those things and start to realize from the top-down priority of what you're thankful for. And this week we're going to get to, and I always love this time of the year to be able to take, and we did it down in Moreno Valley, we did it last year here, that I am so thankful, and I want you to know why that we cook all these turkeys and why that we feed a lot of people and have them come to sit with us. Because I'm so thankful, and there's so much overflowing out of us that I wanted to overflow onto a lot of other people and let them come in and enjoy some of the blessings that we have. Yes. And I told you that we stepped out in faith because we didn't know where the turkeys were going to all come from, because last year was about, what was it last year, about 240? Something like that, 250? So I imagine this year it could be twice or larger, so I thought, okay, God, I know that we're going to do this. We're going to do this. With you, we're going to do it. So we started to get some sign-ups, and I got a phone call from Denise this week. Nora was the one that shared it, and then it came through, and a developer gave us 30 turkeys that we get to pick up tomorrow. And 10 of those get to go to Metro Kids to hand out to those families. The other 20 get to go in somebody's oven. And they're going to be cooked up so that we can have them for this Thursday. They cut up, pour gravy on it if they want. We're going to have a big pot of mashed potatoes. And we're going to have green beans. And Pastor Eddie's been out getting all the things together. I don't know about you guys, but don't get too religious on me, because to me, that is right in the thick of it. That's exactly where Christ would be. He fed 5,000 people out there, and he just loved the fellowship, and he loved to serve and not be served. And that's part of the attitude of gratitude, to be thankful. And so I want you to begin this week, if you haven't in the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about this, about being thankful. I want you to really, every day you get up and every night that you go to bed, something that I practice. I'll lay there in bed at night. You know what I do? I just say, I start to go over a list. And it is a way that I even start my prayers, because it actually is shaped and formed in your heart, things that you would pray for. When you give thanks to God first, it starts to well up in you so that your prayers are even reshaped and the things that you ask for. So I'd like you to really begin every morning that you get up and every night that you go to bed, and see how your life changes when you begin to think about the things that God has blessed you with. Don't think about the things that you don't have. Don't think about all the things that your friends and everybody else seems to have and you don't have. Don't think about those things. Think about what you do have. I was reading this story this week, and it touched my heart. There was a man, and quite some time ago this happened, and he lived in Chicago. And for 20 years, this man had been seen on the streets, and he would sell newspapers, and they would see him in garbage cans actually getting food. And so the man had died, and imagine for 20 years in Chicago there, that he had a little path that he traveled. So many people got to know him, got to see him every day. He got to be a part of the landscape of every day's life there in Chicago. So when he was missing for 2 or 3 days, people began to ask, where is he? And so they went and did an investigation. Somebody knew where he lived. He had a little tiny room that he lived in. And they went into his house, and he had died in his bed. So they did an autopsy on the man, and they wanted to find out why that he had died, like a lot of times they do when somebody dies in a condition like that. And they found that he died of malnutrition. Now here's what was really stunning to me, that I read this and I thought about the spiritual ramifications of this. They found a money belt on this man. And this was a long time ago. It had $23,000 in cash in this money belt. So this man had been walking around with all this inside of him, this money belt. He could have gone and rented hotels. Imagine $23,000, multiply that times about 4 times because of when this took place. And think how much money. He would have over $100,000. Think of how he could have lived. Think of how he could have eaten, what the foods that he could have paid for. And yet he had it all along and didn't even know he had it. And he died in poverty and died from malnutrition. And so that really stuck out to me as I read this story, and I kept pondering it, and I kept thinking about it, and realizing that this whole idea of being thankful and having gratitude, it's an attitude, isn't it? It's something that we all have, something to be thankful for. We are literally carrying around like that money belt that guy had. He could have done so much more with his life, but he didn't. He had it with him the whole time, but he never used it. He never understood what he had. So today, I submit to you that many of you have something, you don't realize what you have. You don't realize what God has given you to work with. And this is the whole week that we're going into, Thanksgiving. It's a time that we give thanks. You know, other countries don't even have a time of Thanksgiving. They don't celebrate like we do. In our country we live in, we have so much to be thankful for. But again, thankfulness, it's an attitude. And when you begin to watch people like I do, I'm an observer. How many of you have ever sat around and you like to listen, and you like to hear, and you're not trying to find anything wrong with people, you're just a people watcher, and you enjoy listening to what's going on. It's like last night I went out and I had to go to the grocery store, and there were 2 ladies over here, and they were probably about 5 car lengths, and they had their hands joined together like this, and they were praying. And I could see the one lady crying, and I told Karen, I said, Karen, look over there. I said, they're praying in the middle of the parking lot, and I couldn't help but observe because it was so loud, and the lady was praying. She said, I don't know why I feel like this, God, but please help me. And the other lady was interceding, praying for her. So I observe and I listen. See, I remembered what I even heard last night, a lot more of that as I was walking by. I remember that prayer that I was hearing. So you have things that are going on all around us, and you begin to hear words, and then you realize that all of our words and all of our thoughts that we have and our actions are actually expressing for what we have. What we have, whatever we have, whatever we're blessed with, whatever gratitude we have, we begin to express it, and you find out that people aren't thankful, don't you? When you see their actions and you hear what they say, then you find out right away what's down inside of them. You find out whether they are thankful, or you find out if they have gratitude for everything. I mean, I hear people give thanks over the dumbest stuff. I mean, it doesn't even sound like there's anything to be thankful for, but when I begin to listen, I say, yeah, that's something to be thankful for. We just miss it. We get so busy in our society, and we're just running from one place to the next, that we forget the simple things to be thankful for. And I realized that the other day. I left up here, and I'm just heading home, and I'm going down 215, and I smell something. And it's probably close to 6 o'clock, and something smells hot. And I am a mechanic. I look at my gauges. I tell all of you, look at your gauges. And I don't know how long I've been driving this thing, and it was all the way pegged in the hot. And so I immediately put it in neutral. It's a stick shift. I shut it off, and I coasted a bit, and I got up to University Avenue, and I pulled off. And the first thing that hit my mind is I said, wow, we just take for granted that we're going to hit this key, and we're just going to put the gas on, and it's going to take us from point A to point B, and we don't even think about it. And so I'm rolling into this gas station. I'm saying, God, I completely missed it, that this thing's getting me back and forth every day, and now when it shuts down, I begin to think about what I have. I'm saying, man, I got to pull over. I don't even know what's happened here. I'm going to pull it up into this gas station, and I'm going to find out what I can do to fix it. So anyway, it was a good story. I was able to crawl underneath, open up the manual, and look and see what fuses went to which. I put the fuse back in it, the fans came back on, and I drove home. And I said, God, it's so simple, but yet it's so big that every day we miss it, the things that God is doing for us. And it's huge, because we're here today, and you got up this morning. You hear it all the time, but it's huge. That you are breathing, and that your heart is beating, and that you have a mind that